So I wanted to do some housekeeping, and one of those items on my list is to go through the briefcase and figure out what slabs I have that don't really have any business being slabs. So this is that pile, and these are just things that I've kind of picked up through the collections. I mean, you'll recognize these if you've watched the other collection videos, and I brought them to shows with me thinking, you know, there might be the right buyer for something like this. Like somebody might think it's cool to have a Lugia break at raw price in a slab, but in reality, over the course of 4 shows and some eBay and Facebook Marketplace, this stuff hasn't sold. Even though some of it gets a lot of looks, like for example, the Fates Clyde Umbreon gets a lot of looks. But for example, this raw and near mint is like a $36 to $40 card. So it doesn't really make sense for this to be in a slab. Same with this one, the Lugia break is like a $17 card. Doesn't need to be in a slab. This one keeps going down in slab PSA 9. You'd think that the promos might have a little bit more of a premium in PSA 9 just because they're harder to grade typically with the promos, but raw seems to be going for around 70, so I'm gonna save the space. This is just pretty much not gonna sell, specifically because energy is already harder to sell, and it's Japanese, and it's in a CGC slab, and it's not a 10. So like the world is up against this card. I'm gonna just crack it and put it in the binder page that I have for energies. This, another card that it gets a couple of looks, like people look at these and go, oh, that's cool, but they're right around the 10 mark, and it's really just the price of the card itself. So these are just gonna go in the dollar binder. Then we have something like the top shelf grading, top shelf 6, you know, like this muck from Fossil is probably not too far off raw from this $10 price, and it's kind of arbitrary. So again, this is just gonna go in the dollar binder. Same thing with the dark gold duck, gonna just go in the dollar binder. This card, I just have it valued at raw. Nobody's buying a DSG slab, but I guarantee this will sell first show if it's raw. Same thing here. Thought somebody might think it was interesting to have a Tag 7 Suicune, just to have it in the slab. I priced it just under raw. There's no reason for this to be in a slab anymore. So that's the pile. What I'm gonna do is I have these nail remover tool, nail puller, cutting pliers, and cutting pliers. Those are the different keywords for these things. So I'm gonna use these and probably like a flathead screwdriver or something like that and try to get some of this stuff open, and I'm gonna do it inside a Ziploc bag. So actually, step 1 is just gonna be bags off. And it'll be nice because this will save some space in the slab case that I bring around. And besides, the singles tend to be doing much better at shows right now than slabs. And I've noticed that the people that are into these lower end slabs are the people who are just kind of getting back into the hobby, and they know that slabs are popular, and so they think, you know, I want to start a graded collection, so they buy like a lot of quote junk slabs or lower end slabs, you know, engage with the hobby in whatever way is fun for you. But I always try to let somebody know if the advice is warranted that those might be hard to trade into bigger cards. All right, so I'm gonna separate by slab type. So we got the PSAs, CGC, top shelf, DSG, and tag. So I've cracked only one slab in my history, and it was a tag. So I'm gonna start with that. Just getting on the edges. There we go. All right, and now that we're in, let's see if we can dig it out of here so it's a little easier to see. Pretty clean. Put that right there. Let me get the trash. Actually, I have a mini vacuum. That might be useful right now. Where is that thing? All right, on to the next. We did tag. We can do the one DSG now. Probably just gonna do the same thing, I would imagine. Just crack the corners is the way to go with all of these. Just so you can see where I'm putting it. It's right about there. This one's not making any crack noises, it's just going right through. Yeah, this is a really thick slab if you look at it compared to like PSA. It doesn't look like it, I guess, but it feels pretty thick. That's what she said? Oh, okay, this does seem to fit through. I think we gotta go a little further on these ones. Oh, geez. Out of respect to frickin' Diamond Supply grading, maybe nobody knows them, but their slabs are pretty tough. I'm trying to think. There we go. That was the way to do this one. Should probably be doing this in the bag. Jeez. Be careful when you do this, I guess. Seems like it could be dangerous. All right, we're in. There we go. Reach in there. All right. Seems to be very safely retrieved. Nice. That one was tough. Okay, on to CGC. They have these weird casings. I don't know if they'll be hard to crack through. I don't think so, but kind of bigger rounded edges on these things. There we go. That was nice and easy. Let me just see if we just can do that and then be right in. That'd be nice. Okay, that was much easier. The diamond one, I could not do that. Yep, yeah, right in the middle. There we go. So not the best. I mean, if this was like a, Michael Jordan rookie card, maybe my method does not work. You can see a little shard of the casing is on it. I'm sure it's fine. The card seems very as it was, so to say. So successful there, but not the cleanest break. Well, clean break, just not the cleanest retrieval, I guess. It's a better way to put it. Okay, top shelf grading up next. Just take a nice big chunk. There we go, nice and easy. We'll say the two sides of this thing are, there we go. Yeah, and probably this is not a what is the best way to crack a slab tutorial. This is just, or rather, I'm gonna crack a bunch of slabs and here's how I did it. Not really a tutorial. Okay, get the label out of there. Now, we can probably do this. Almost got the card there. Just work our way down the side. That was not great. I mean, card looks totally fine. It's just a dark gold duck, a little bit of whitening on the top. I don't know if that was from me or before, probably before. That one was a 7. But it looks pretty good. So that's, I guess, another success. Let's see if we can maybe make these other top shelf grading cracks a bit better. Maybe the trick is to try to do that nice and quick. Vacuum time. It's really hard to pull the two sides apart on this one. I'm wondering if this might be the better way to do it. There we go. Some splintering, big splintering, not good. If this were a very expensive card, that would not have been good. Here, I'll show you what happened. I was just trying, if I clipped off this bottom part here to get through, to separate them, which it did work, but it splintered the front. So if this were expensive, that would not be a good situation. I think probably the best way to do this one. Yeah, it just totally went under the back of the card. Yeah, so this is what's making these so hard. If you look here, it's got like a big overbite. So it's hard to get the plier in between, because to get it in between, you have to like get it under and through. So if that made any sense, I'm just gonna kind of brute force this one a little bit, trying to look away so I don't have glasses on. Yeah, I'll just slide it out like that, that's fine. Boom. Let's see. So, I mean, this thing already was beat up. It's not like we did any crazy damage. Let's see, if we did do anything, it would have been a scratch on the back. Yeah, I mean, this is a binder dollar card. Anyways, this is no big deal. I would say our first failed extraction, though, that would be a definite damage to it. If it was a 9 you were trying to resubmit for a 10, then you would not be having a good time. Let's try and get a redemption run on top shelf grading. Gonna go in a little further this time. See if we can push up and get in there. Ooh. Okay, didn't hit the cards, but that shot through, and I was not expecting to do that. Okay, so that worked much better, and you probably would want to crack all 4 sides. If you're really taking your time, you probably would want to crack all 4 sides before doing something like this. It also would be really good to have like a keychain loop or anything that you could just kind of like, right now the screwdriver is keeping this open, but if you put like a keychain loop or something like that through here to keep it open, that way you could move around the flathead, it would be really helpful. So I think you go like that, get to a side, and you can see right now it's not fully sitting in the casing exactly how it was. So you don't want to let it re-clamp. Like I have my fingers in between there so it doesn't fully re-clamp down, because you don't want it to like crease it, because it's not perfectly flush in the casing. So if the 2 sides were to touch right now, it would probably damage the card. It might. I think this is extractable. There we go. So we got our top shelf grading redemption. Looks good. And oh, I have one more CGC. Oops. I'm gonna do this one fast because it's a 7.5 and it's a binder card. And so we're gonna just try to speed run this one. Okay, 4 corners done. Okay. It's really nice and easy to get in the gap on these CGCs, actually. It's not that hard to crack it. And then once you do crack it, it's a lot easier to get this flathead in there. Let's see, it took me super long on some of the other ones. So now, I'm gonna kind of work my way up the side. There we go, open that. Now probably actually the best way to do this is once you pop the front a little bit to try to come in the back here and split the 2. It's probably the right thing to do, but this is fine. Actually, that works nice. That worked really nice. So I just put the screwdriver in like this and then lift it up. The panel just came right off. Try to show it exactly as it was. Yeah, so the panel, clean off on that one. Boom, and it looks good. Got the label graveyard over here. Guess I'll use that for the thumbnail or something. And now, let's see. So we got the Umbreon, the Mimikyu, and that. Okay, so this of the 3 PSAs is least expensive. This is not bottle cap cert. These are older certs, so you can't just use a bottle opener to pop these, but I don't know how people tend to pop these. Let me flip this around so that the Ziploc logo is not blocking it. Okay, I went up pretty high up trying to see how far I could go in. The Lugia break did not want to break. There we go. Yeah, so this is actually kind of tough. Maybe you need sharper pliers or just clip off less. Like that's super easy if you clip off less of the corner. Like this is how much I clipped off the first time. There you go. Versus what clipped off easier on the right side of my hand there. So much smaller. Let's see, how easy are these gonna be to pull apart? Let me look at it. Okay. Fantasy football group chat is going crazy right now. Something might be going on. There we go. Is this really worth it, all this effort? All right, there's not a great way. Oh, we got that, okay. There we go. Looks like it's wanting to splinter at the top there. Yep, it's starting to splinter. Maybe if we do this from the top. Okay, so I have it open with my thumb right now, which I don't suggest, but so this is what I was saying that the keychain loops might be good for. There we go. Okay, not the easiest, but there is a beautiful binder copy of a Lugia break, just with some minor edge wear, and that was enough to get it a 7. Here, look, Let's see. Yeah, it just got some on that left side. You can just see a little whitening in that top left, but really nothing egregious. So that was a success. It was not a clean break of the Lugia brake, but we did it. See if we can improve. This hand vacuum is so clutch. I'm gonna try, because we have the bigger card coming up after this, I'm gonna try breaking all 4 corners and see if that helps with the splintering. So what I did on that one is I kind of put it between the pliers, and then I just held it up, and then I bopped it with my hand against the table instead of squeezing. Seemed to be nice and swift that way. Just got the, there we go. So again, I'm just gonna put it against the table and go like this. And one more, a bigger grip on this one. Did a lot better. Let's see what the easiest. So you can probably get in from the top there. So let's try that. This seems to be the biggest variable in all of them. Is like, it's easy to crack the corners. It's kind of hard to get them started though, like to actually separate the 2 slabs, which is reassuring, I guess, just for slabs overall, but let's try. There we go, a little lower. All right, so I think I figured it out with the PSA ones. So you want to get it open enough that you see the red peeking out for the label, and then you just put the screwdriver under the label, and then you're in. Now I got to figure out this part. Looking for something to just jam in. Well, that didn't work. Okay, all right, so you got the top separated. Try to work our way down the side a little. Got the label in there assaulting the slab. I'm gonna pluck that out. There we go. 1 fates collide. Yeah, it looks really good. Super near mint. Just a little whitening in that bottom left corner. There it is. See that in the bottom left? Just a little bit of whitening. Otherwise, great looking card. This is way better raw than it was in that slab. So good. You get a little more comfortable with PSA in time for the bigger one. And now we got that last one. This is the Pokemon Center Mimikyu. It's a cool card. I don't know, I was kind of torn. Maybe leave this one, maybe not. I'm still kind of torn. I don't really know what to do on this game. I don't know. At this point, she's gotta go. Actually, don't know if Mimikyu is a boy or a girl. So let's see if I can crack this straight to the label this time, instead of having to like inch my way there. Nice. Ooh, big chunk came off of that one. Look at that. Okay, we got it like this. See if we got it good enough to get in there. Yeah, on this side we did. This time I want something that I can jam in there to keep the slab open. I'm trying to look for something. I got this thing. It's actually used to tighten a Corsair mouse. So first, let's get in here. I'm just looking for that label. There we go. Okay, so now should be a lot easier to maneuver around. There we go, switch this out. Whole top is free. Go down the sides really slow. God, I don't know how people crack and resubmit so frequently and so efficiently. This is a pain. Clean up the shrapnel. You can see we've got opened up the whole left edge up to here. Let's see if we can finish off that left side. I'm trying to really go slow on this one. Shoot. Oh shoot. Has disaster struck? I don't even want to look until it's all the way open. Oh, thank God, I think we're safe. I thought the screwdriver went straight through the back of the card, but it must have been lifted. Looks like we're still near mint. Whew, that's a big relief. Okay, cool. That was a successful session. All right, so we did it. We have a couple of labels to show for it, but we were able to crack out all the slabs with no major damages on any of the cards, or really no noticeable damage on any of the cards. And we're taking a bunch of slabs that were previously, unwanted slabs that were not desirable, and now we have a couple of singles that are super desirable, like here, the Umbreon. This will go in the binder. You got the Golduck for the binder, binder again, but the less desirable, super desirable, super desirable. Great for the showcase. So I'm really happy with this. I'm gonna love to have the Lugia in the showcase, love to have the Suicune in the showcase. I have the Entei, so I can put it next to that one. I always love to have Umbreons in the showcase. So I'm glad that we did this, and it was a good experiment, good to test things out, and good to just kind of free up some space in the slab case.